Hello everyone, my name is Philip Lloyd Domaget. I'll be your trainer for today and also a presenter. I will be discussing two topics for today. We'll be talking about short sale and transaction closing. Now, for those who doesn't know what is short sale all about, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, what is short sale? Now, what is real estate property short sale? Now, this refers to the sale of property for a sum less than the amount owed on the property. Now, this is in layman's terms is called an upside down situation, wherein the borrower has a higher amount of loan compared to the sum or the worth of their property. So now there's some guidelines for a borrower for be able to do a short sale. Now, if a homeowner meets with the series of criteria, their mortgage lender may agree to short sell the property to a qualified buyer, or if the buyer accepts less than the full balance due on the loan and forgive all the large portion of the difference. To do the sale or short sale, there are some pre-qualifications that they need to undergo. Now, the realtor should pre-qualify any potential clients who are interested in doing a short sale on their home. This can be done over the telephone or in person and includes asking questions that can help the realtor determine if they are a good candidate for a short sale. That is the pre-qualification all about. Now, the conditions are they must have a hardship, which is financial hardship. They could have, or they could have a loss of income, increase on expenses, medical problems, death in the family, divorce, or job transfer. Those are some reasons. And also, they must owe more money on their home loan than the home is actually worth. That's what we call the upside down situation. Now, they must be past due on mortgage payments as they are in default, and also must be able to show that they can no longer afford their home or afford to bring money to closing, so for them to pay the full amount. Now, the processes that they have to go through is that first, or what we need to do is that first we have to advise for them to do a pre-qualification, or they have to answer the pre-qualification questionnaire. Now, that involves the questions that they need to go through, like they have to provide informations of the information financially, how they will not be able to, or what's the reason that they will not be able to pay the remaining balances. And also, we need to gather information such as the hardship letter, listing agreement, letter of authorization, financial statement, recent bank statement, recent paycheck stub, comparative market analysis, which is just an option. Now, we also have to have list and market. This includes pricing the home, listing on the MLS, receiving the short sale disclosure and agent guidelines, developing a marketing plan, and running a title search. Now, also, um, the owner can also have or the lender can have or receive offers systematically reviewing offers or determining if they meet the short sale disclosure on agent guidelines and working with the buyers and buyers agents and choosing an offer, submitting final offer to lender. Now, also, um, they could submit package to lender. It's a complete package submitted to lender for approval. Now, this is usually the work for LAs. Now, set up file, set up an agent to perform an accomplished check on the sale package to determine if it meets the lender basic format and criteria. Usually it takes about 30 to 10 or 30 to 60 days. And also, they have to assign a loss mitigator. Now, loss mitigator performs initial review of package focusing on the hardship, as they have 7 to 10 days to review it once assigned. So, those are the things that they need to do. And also, we could have an order appraisal. Now, it would be for the lender. Our lender orders appraisal and also approve or decline. They might decline or counter the offer, after which you have a closing file. Now, that sums up the first part of the training or the discussion that we have, which is the short sale. Now, let's go through what is transaction closing. Now, on layman's term, on how you understand transaction closing is the stage wherein seller and buyer are in the last part of negotiation proper. Now, in this course, you will learn the process for receiving, presenting, and negotiating the real estate contract sale or purchase sale. Now, also, we would know what's the task of the closing agent. Now, closing agent receives the contract package and assigns the contract package and a contract person for the transaction. He or she possesses all loan and title documents. Now, after which they would have an earnest money. Now, earnest money on a Philippine situation, a Philippine scenario on real estate, it's what we call deposit, or in their case, also the same as deposit, an advance of a certain amount in good faith or deposit. Now, if a buyers fail to perform according to the terms of the contract, they forfeit the money deposit to the client. Now, after which they could have a contract to close dates. It's the timeline that buyer and client agree on a time contract to closing prior ratification. So they have agreed the time frame, payment schedule, and also when to finally have inspection, all those stuff that they need to do before closing transaction. Now also there are type of buyers that could be an all cash payment. They can do an all cash payment. That buyer with sufficient funds must close within 15 days, or for pre-qualified buyer, they must close within 30 days. Now, for listing agents tasks for LAs, they continue for weekly property inspections until the transaction closing reports to closing manager. Now, regular services such as yard maintenance, swimming pool service, and winterization. Now, also, they have a property inspections, and this involves professional inspectors or inspections report may indicate repairs. The buyer may request the seller to complete the repairs prior to closing. And also after which they could go to final billing, wherein the LA or the LA follow the client's instructions regarding on pre-closing, on repair payments, and final utility payments. Now this ensures the client process full reimbursement in the least amount of time. Now, after which they could have a closing reconciliation. Now, the LA works closely with the closing agent to ensure that the closing occurs on a scheduled date. The final element of closing is the transfer of ownership. LA, you should be present during the time on the walkthrough wherein the buyer would be visiting the place for finalization, on checking on whatever the things that they need to do and whatever things that should be fixed. So that's part of the closing part. I mean, yes, part of the closing reconciliation. After which they could have the payments, which is part of the final billing. Or our cash buyers could have a certificate or certified funds, and they could do wire transfer or certified check too. That we talked about for short sale and transaction closing. And you guys have a great day.